that we get to talk to, people that can like talk us through these kind of situations. And I think, man, my mental, without even knowing it, was affected so bad. Like I was thinking of so much wrong stuff in these fights, and then just 21 days with this guy. This is a 21-day camp. I'm excited to go back and put that to work because that's really a weapon that I never had before.
That's awesome. So is this somebody that you'll continue to work with all the time?
1,000,000%. You know, not only him, but it just opened me up to the path of that's a real thing. Mental strength, being aware of what you allow in your brain, man. It really could put limitations that aren't there.
Very cool. Well, this was certainly a big result for you. I know there's a lot of uncertainty just in the world overall right now, but what does make? I mean, are you thinking about your career? Like, what makes sense in terms of a name, or like when you want to fight again, or what makes sense for you next?
Man, you know what? I think I've been pushing my career so long, and Duke's been just along for the ride. It's time for me to listen to Duke. You know, I've been like, Duke, let's get the next big guy. Let's go to 45, fight Oliveira, and get a title shot. And Duke's just like, yeah, if you want to do it, let's do it. But I'm gonna go sit down with Duke, and we're gonna pick a real path to greatness.
Anthony, bouncing off the back of that, Rafael dos Anjos called you out on Twitter and said,
"Oh yeah." I really want to fight at 155 some more. Before I can't fight at 155 anymore because I know my body's getting harder to make that weight class. You know, I did the last weight cut for the last fight in January. I did myself, and I felt so freaking good, and I didn't get the result that I wanted. So I want to go back and do that again before I commit to 170 pounds.
Cool. When the decision was read out, you did say to Don, like, "Oh, what the fuck, I'll take it." Were you actually surprised that you got the win? Did you think maybe Cerrone had won the fight?
No, I didn't know who won the fight, honestly, because I knew in my head 2 takedowns, 1 round, he got a takedown, 2nd round, got a takedown. I didn't know if he won the round because there's no crowd. Like, for real, like, my fighting style is off the crowd. Like, when the crowd cheers, I'm like, okay, that was good, let's do that again. This time, you know, I was snapping his head back, getting him with some big shots. There's no crowd to, like, tell you, all right, that was like, there's none of that. And I'm really trying to listen to my corner. So my corner's like, yo, you won that fight, head up, keep your head high, like, you know, you look good. And then his corner saying he won the fight. So that was the first time I've been in a position where it's just like, yo, I don't know.
You mentioned it that, you know, you sort of understand where he's at. He's lost 4 in a row now, but he's such a legend of the game. What do you think is next for Cerrone, or should he just start taking these exciting fights with guys like yourself? And what do you see next for Cerrone?
I think whatever Cerrone wants next is what has to be next. And I'm going to go have a beer with him. He got his RV out parked outside. You know, me and Cerrone are friends, bro. Like, I respect the guy as an athlete and as a person. But only Cerrone knows that. You know, if Cerrone's feeling a certain way about these fights or a certain way about these, I know what he's feeling. Like, when he said he didn't want to be in the Conor fight, it's not like he didn't want to be there, like, for real. Like, physically, it's just like this little voice in your head that's just like, yo, your arms are tired, your body's not feeling right, something's wrong. Like, you gotta fix that. And that's what I was talking about with the psychologist. Like, these little limitations that we're putting on ourselves that is not really there.
When did the UFC offer you guys that?
21 days ago when I
that's when they started?
No, I think it's been like for the beginning of the year. I think this guy came, but it's something I always wanted to do, but I just never had access to it. And it's kind of like one of them topics that's like, you look, for me, it's like, yeah, I'm a Hispanic. You know, it's like looked down upon a little bit, which is weird because it's really a tool that we need. Like, it's kind of like a weakness, if you will, if you look for advice on mental strength. But now that I did it, I'm like, yo, I tell Sergio, my little brother, immediately, like, yo, you got to get in this zone, because if you want to last in this sport, this and your body all need to work together.
So specifically, just if you can give us an example, what exactly has he said to you that it sort of clicked in your mind? You go, fuck.
Thoughts are just thoughts. Like, that's the first thing he said. Like, you have to be okay with a thought just being a thought. Recognize that it's there. It's, you know, accept that it went through your head, but dismiss it. And how do you get back to what he says is getting to like a pillar of, for me, it's like family, training, like things that's going to make me make a decision on that kind of stuff. So, like, when you read social media, it's 2 seconds of reading a negative tweet that could mess up my whole practice, my whole week of practice. And I was allowing that to happen, where, like, I'll read one thing, but yo, Pettis needs to work on his takedown defense. And now my next 2 weeks of training, whether I know it or not, like, I'm thinking about this little comment that shouldn't even mattered. So recognizing it was the biggest thing. Like, thoughts are just thoughts.
That's awesome.
Anthony, right here. When you heard the news about Jacare last night, what went through your head?
Man, you know, the scary thing was he was by the weigh-ins with us, and they like had a stage for like an hour and a half, like just sitting there. So it was just like, I saw them. I think they did a good job of like keeping them separate because I didn't see them all week until that point. But it's just a scary thing. Like it made you realize like fight week felt a little normal, and then all of a sudden, boom, somebody got tested positive for COVID. You're like, damn, it's still here. Like it's the world is in a weird place right now.
And one final one. A lot of fighters back here saying they could hear the commentary while they were fighting, and they used it to their advantage. Specifically, Bryce Mitchell could hear them calling like transitions, and he would go against them. Could you hear commentary too?
Yeah, I could hear what they were saying. I was really trying to tune in to Duke Rufus again. I think that was part of like the thing I just talked to him about. Thoughts are just thoughts. Like I can't let all these opinions get into my head and change. It's only 15 minutes, man. It's not a long time. Like we could have amazing training camp, and if one thought messes up your 15 minutes, you got to go back. We don't have next weekend to go erase that. We got to wait 2, 3 months, 4 months to erase that. So yeah, I could hear it, but I just really focused on Duke Rufus.
Hi, Anthony. Congratulations on your performance tonight. 7 years later, you get the win again, but it was a very close fight this time. What do you think ultimately swung it in your direction?
I don't know, honestly. It's hard because there was no crowd this time. I feed off the crowd. Like my fighting style, like I could, if I land something, the oohs and the ahs is kind of tell me where I'm at in the fight. This time there was no oohs and ahs. So it was kind of like just hearing my corner and his corner. So, I got to go back and watch the fight. I got hit a little more than I wanted to. Cowboy's a legend, man. Like that's one of the guys I respect. The guy we've been competing in the same weight classes for a long time, man. So it was a fun fight.
We're talking of oohs and ahs. There was that big kick that you took in the third round that looked like it stung you a little bit. I mean, how tough was it to overcome that one?
I got to go see that one. I think I stepped into it, so it wasn't like the whole kick hit me. But I got a chin. I don't think I've been rocked in the octagon yet where somebody got me dazed. So hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen.
You definitely showcased that for sure. Look, you said prior to this fight that, it's really about getting your confidence back coming off the 2 losses. Do you feel like that's back now? Do you feel, comfortable with that fight, that performance, and that your confidence is high again?
You know what? I took this fight on 21 days notice. So I had 3 weeks to train for this fight. And it was like a weird kind of training, but I'm so glad I took part of this event. It made me reinvent my training camp. I'm excited to go right back to work. And I kind of got that burning desire to go do great in the sport again. I forget everything else. I kind of, who cares about what people are saying? I just want to go be great in the sport before my time is done.
Well, you know what it's like to be a champion. You're now in the welterweight division, and I'm sure the hunger is there in that division as well. Talking about getting back, do you see the welterweight division as your home going forward? What is this now, your 4th fight at 170?
Yeah, fourth fight at 170. I had one way back in the day at 170 pounds. Yeah, this will be my new home eventually, but I still have some stuff I want to handle at 155. So I'm gonna go a couple more fights at 155 pounds before I can't make that weight, or I don't want to make that weight anymore. And then 170 will be my new home.
What, any particular fighter you want to handle at 155?
I would love to fight the loser of the main event, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. I know one's getting the title shot, and the other one needs a dance partner, and I'm healthy.
Okay, sounds good. And lastly, what words were said between yourself and Cowboy after the fight? And are you going to go and celebrate with him in the RV out in the parking lot?
Yeah, you know what? I respect Cowboy, man. Like, we fought twice now. He's been around. He's a legend of the sport. He got so many great performances. I really respect Cowboy. I became a fan of Cowboy. After our first fight, I was like, yo, this guy is like me. He'll fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. Don't matter the weight class. And you got to respect that.
Well, a legend yourself. Thank you for a great performance tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we have Danny Segura from USA Today MMA Junkie.
Anthony, congrats on the victory. First of all, you're a veteran. You've been around the sport for a very long time. How did it feel fighting without a crowd? Was there a big difference than
huge difference? I mean, it's been such a long time since I had a fight with less than 15,000 people, 16,000 people. I'm so used to that. Like my whole career, I was born in that arena. And then, going to this it was definitely a little different, man, because the crowd's not there to give you that energy, that drive. So I knew going into that, I kind of had to tune into myself and my coaches. But when you're in there, until you're in there, you really don't know how it feels. And, it definitely was different.
Yeah. Do you prefer it or?
I don't know. You know, I definitely got to win, so I'm excited about that. But there's something about the atmosphere of everybody sharing that moment with you, and you can feel it. So I think I love having the crowd around.
Yeah. And a while back, I saw there was like a behind the scenes video where Paul Felder was speaking to Dan Hardy. And it seemed that there was some talk maybe at some point between you two fighting. Dan Hardy recently expressed interest in a return to MMA. Is that someone you have in mind as a future fight, maybe next?
Man, yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that, but if he wants to come back and fight relatively soon, I'm not going to wait for Dan Hardy. But if he's ready and he wants to fight and the UFC wants to make it happen, I don't really say no to anybody. I don't think I ever said no to anybody. So yeah, if he wants to fight and he's ready, Dan's been. I watched Dan, the Red Mohawk. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I'll fight him.
And it seems from the previous questions that you just fought at 170, but you have still unfinished business at 155. Is it safe to say that in your next spot out, we should expect you at that weight class, 155?
Man, there's nothing. There's honestly, like with what's going on right now, nothing's guaranteed, man. We're in a weird time. So give us an opportunity right now to go be the main event of this right here. Some people were talking trash about it, like, oh, Pettis and Cowboy, the main event of the prelims. But I don't. I like to put on a show, and I think we put on a show. I think we both went out there and we fought our asses off.
Well, appreciate the time and congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
Last question's going to Gabriel Gonzalez from Cage Side Press.
Hi, congratulations, Anthony. I heard from the other scrum that you just did there live that you'd actually been working through the UFC with a sports psychologist. I mean, you're a guy, you've been champion, you've been around a long time. Can you just talk about adding just, I guess, that element to, just part of your craft is working with somebody?
And it's huge. You know what? Honestly, my fiance is like the one that got me really into opening up to actually explore that. For some reason, man, I think, growing up where I grew up, I'm Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Mexican. I look down upon that kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, if somebody needs to go get some advice to be mentally strong, they're weak. And then my fiance kind of like just nudged me to go explore. So I had a meeting, and man, I'll tell you, bro, like it helped so much. Like it cleared so many. It's not that it cleared it. It gave me a path to defend against when I have a negative thought. Somebody tells me something negative, and I hear it all the time. I'm sure that some people are going to talk trash about this fight. If I go in and I read that, whether you like it or not, like a 2-minute tweet, a 10-second tweet that you read changes the vibe of the week, the training session, the month. And I wasn't aware of that. So I was just allowing myself to get pulled in like 28 different directions. And how do you focus on what you're trying to do out there in the fight? So this time, every in between each round, the first round I stayed standing up. In my head, I was breathing. I was doing my deep breaths. I'm like, all right, let me get back to right where I'm at right now. How do I change this moment? And I felt good in there. When you go in there and you're scatterbrained and you don't have like that you're not equipped with that information, it's a scary time, and it's scary in the octagon. It's a scary place.
Can I ask, Anthony, because a lot of people, when the scorecards were read in your favor, you did have this just expression. It did look like a bit of surprise. Can you set the record straight? What did go through your mind when they said Anthony Pettis unanimous decision?
I had no idea. I'm so used to fighting with a crowd. I think without even knowing, I know how I did in the fight based on how the crowd responded. This time I didn't know. Like I heard my coaches, I heard his coaches. His coaches said he won. My coaches said I won. I had no idea. I knew I got taken down twice. He didn't really do nothing with it, but in the past, when people took me down, I usually lost them fights. So that's why I was just like, let's see what happens. And I think I gotta change that. I gotta change that mindset. That's another thing. Like now that I can recognize it, like all right, he took me down, and I was like, oh, he beat me. That's not true. Like I just found out it's not true. Like I put that in my head for some dumb reason, but I'm living and I'm learning. I'm still having fun with it, and I'm excited to come back and keep going.
Finally, this was an exciting fight. This was a great win. You snapped the losing streak, but we're still in the midst of a global situation. Are you able to plan to celebrate this one, or do you feel like you got to almost put the victory party on hold?
You know what, man? I don't really need to celebrate anymore. I've been fighting so much. Like I used to do that, have these vacates planned, have the after party set up, what I'm wearing to the after party, how I'm going to look. Like I'm stopped thinking about that. Like literally, like I just want to be remembered as putting some amazing performances on. So the rest of my career, that's what I'm focusing on. Good fights, big fights, and just leaving my mark on this sport.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Congrats again.
Thank you.
All done, Anthony. Congrats. Have a good night.
You too.